four-time national champion. This is The Outside Gate with Steve Hall on the L4 Media Network, where we talk US moto and anywhere the conversation goes. Joining me today is a legend of off-road racing, and his young bloke's a pretty good rider too. Scott Plessinger, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much for your time today. I'm really pumped to talk to you today. It's I'm excited. What have you been up to today?
Oh, so we I've been down in Florida training. I trained about 15 kids over the winter. So I just got back on Monday, and back right before I left to go to Florida back in December, we closed on a new house. So I got back and having to empty my old house out. So that's what I've been doing, loading stuff up. So that's been
Dude, that's
not fun.
moving.
Yeah, not
Moving
fun.
is like the worst time, isn't it? Yeah.
So, and we got a lot of stuff, so you can imagine. So I'm gonna be busy for probably a couple weeks moving stuff. So, but
Yeah, I'll
it'll
bet. Yeah.
be.
How many kids do you have?
I actually have three.
Yeah.
Daughter, she actually lives in Florida, and then Aaron lives in Florida, and then I have Aaron's brother, which is 3.5 years younger than he is. He lives up here and works up here and everything. So
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Ohio, we're from. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, got three kids and wife, and all's good, and got a bunch of grandkids. And
Bunch of grandkids, yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, well, man, I know, I have two kids, and the amount of stuff you collect in a house just with two kids, it's
yeah,
yeah.
I swore I moved 12 years ago, and I swore I'd never move again, but here we
Yeah.
are. It's
Yeah,
all right.
no,
I'm actually moving closer to my track, so because I got an hour and 20-minute drive right now, so I'll be
okay.
50 away from my track, so make it a lot
Yeah.
easier.
Is that Chili Town?
So Chili Town, that I can only race there 4 times a year. So it's not, I just lease the grounds there.
Okay.
It's at a fairgrounds. So we lease a back, we lease like 15 acres from them. And, but it's got like 1,700 RV hookups and everything. It's awesome facility, really awesome. But my main track is East Fork. And that's what I've had for the last 8 years. So, um, it does really well. But that's where I do all my training kids, and primarily all my majority of my motocross races and stuff there. So
Yeah, yeah.
keep
So
me
you,
busy.
you you hold quite a few races, local races
Yeah,
and that at East Fork. Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
And we couple other events there. So it's definitely practices and all and stuff like that. So and
Mm.
we get huge turnouts. We just had a practice last weekend, had 190 riders. So it's a good
Yeah.
one day. Pretty
That's
busy.
a that's a good turnout. That's bigger. That's bigger than any pretty much bigger than nearly any race days in Australia.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. If you take like on a race day, you really, because a lot of people run like two or three different classes. So
mm,
we usually have about 600 entries, but
yeah,
we got 190 riders. Times that by three. That's I mean
mm,
that's a good turnout. So for a
yeah,
race,
yeah,
we get great turnouts for all
yeah.
our stuff.
How many months of the year can you run that track?
Um, it's normally from about now we start. It depends. We get so much rain now this time of the year, so it's kind of
Mm,
iffy. But usually April till December 1st, and then
yeah,
a case get one in the wintertime. It just depends on the weather. It's a lot up and down here, so but
mm,
normally we should. But like yeah, 2 weeks ago in February we had an open practice and had a good turnout. So it's I try to open it when we can. So
yeah,
but then during the summer months and stuff, we're open all the time. And
yeah. It's
so
funny. It's obviously I'm very interested in and into the US scene, so I know all about it. My local track, or not my local, it's not actually not my local track, my favorite track, which is a bit further than my local track, it actually closes over summer because they run out of water. So we have the opposite problem. They can run all winter, and once the dam gets too low, then it's they can't water the track anymore. Yeah.
We have two ponds, and last year we sucked them all dry, and then I had to
Okay.
go creek that runs through our property, and I had to go back to it and start pumping
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
usually that's towards the end of the season. We've pumped all the water out of the ponds and stuff. So, but yeah, it gets dry here too. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not like it used to. It's our weather's changed so much. We get less of a winter now, but then we get more rain throughout the summer. Like our grass used to
Okay.
die. It don't die anymore. It stays green.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Interesting. All right, we might get into a bit into your life and your career and that sort of thing. First question I pretty much always ask is when did the bug first bite? You know, your first taste of motorcycles that made you just love it.
well, I don't know. When I was probably 10, 12 years old, my older brothers, they rode. They really didn't race. I just kind of I had little bikes and stuff, and I rode some of their bikes here and there, and then just kind of just kind of wanted to ride more, and got I had older bikes, so I really didn't have it like a new bike. So,
Mm.
and I didn't start racing until I was 15, so I was late bloomer. But so in I think 1982, I got a brand new bike for the first time, and it was an RM80, and I was really too big for it, to be honest. I was 15 and probably 5'6", probably maybe 7. So I was
Yeah,
pretty big. I rode it that year, and then I was riding motocross, and then rode it the whole year in motocross. And then at the end of the year, my brother's father-in-law talked me into going to this 100 miler. It was about an hour from our house, and it started at 11, and I didn't get done until like 5:30 that night. And I stopped for gas like 3 times. It was pretty cool, but I loved it, and I won the race, or I won my class, and kind of got me hooked on off road. So from there on, it was just I don't know, just kind of I got off the 85s immediately that after that, and just got started moving up on bikes and started doing well. Um, I think really 1986 is really where 1985 I probably got my first taste of thinking that I could really do well. So I
yeah,
ended up a couple national hair scrambles, and actually I'd done really good for because they were 3 hours long. I'd done really good for the first 2 hours, and then I kind of petered out. So I had to learn that pace. I went out like normal motocross guys do, and
yeah,
just hammer down as hard as you can go and wear yourself out. So, but once I got that figured out, and like 86, I started doing better, and in 87, I really did the whole national hair scramble circuit. Um, Done pretty well. I didn't win anything, but I was in top fives, and then 88, I ended up snagging a win, and then uh, 89, I won my first championship.
yeah.
So
So it was a very quick progression. Like you
yeah,
come up through the ranks quick. Yeah,
yeah. Actually, I actually really came up quick. I kind of surprised myself, really. But I had a pretty good work ethic, especially once I figured it out and had figured out what I needed to do, the training part.
mm,
I knew I don't know. The riding just came natural, and then it was just figuring out that um, the endurance part. And once I started figuring that out, then I won, I think, 5 or 6 events in '89. So that was, and they counted. There's 9 events. I won a good amount that year.
mm, yeah. And when did you first get like get support like any sort of factory support and that sort of thing? Did you have that
So
for 89?
that year was, so 88, I didn't have nothing. Kawasaki gave me some support. It wasn't much. I mean, I got some bikes and parts and contingency stuff, so I did all right with that. But
So
then
you're on like a KDX 200
actually
or a KX.
250, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
For a KX. I always liked the motocross bikes. I didn't really like the enduro bikes. I mean, back before that, I rode a Yamaha IT 200 and a KDX 200. That was back in my earlier years. So, but after that, once I got on actually 1985, I got on a YZ 250, and that thing was like, holy crap, that thing's fast. But I rode it good in the woods, which was unusual because usually moto bikes you don't like them. But I liked the way they hit.
mm,
I don't know. I just like the way the motocross bikes work.
yeah. It's funny. I remember back in the day. I was a young fella then, but very very much watching the sport in Australia, and we had a guy here. His name was Brett Smith, and he made a YZ. I think it actually was 1985. He made a YZ IT hybrid that was very controversial because I think it had IT compliance plates and stuff, but it was very, very YZ, but it was almost like a YZ with some blue fenders and stuff on it. And it was very controversial because that's sort of all they really wanted, because there was so much advance to the other bikes in the class and that sort of thing. So, and then eventually that's what manufacturers started doing, because they started making pretty much motocross bikes, maybe with a wide ratio gearbox and some lights. Yeah. So I can certainly see what you're saying there. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the way they hit. Just the power delivery and stuff. I liked it a little better than that mellow, like the KTM EXCs. I didn't really like that. Even once I got on KTM, I always rode the motocross bikes.
Yeah.
I did flywheel weight on them, but other than that,
Mm.
I just got transmission and everything they had in the motocross bikes. The
Yeah.
spacing was just too far out for me on the EXC models, so didn't
Yeah.
really care too much for the transmission.
Yeah, I think the wide ratio is just more. I think it's more good. It's good for lazy trail riding. So you
Right.
got that high top when you're going down a transport section or something like that, isn't it? But I think when you're in the trees, it's probably not that much benefit. Yeah. So
Yeah.
89 were you on KTM then?
No, I won the championship that year on KX 250, and then 1990 I switched over to KTM, and that's pretty much where I spent the rest of my career.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so I had a great year going in 1990, and I'd won a couple races. I was in the points lead, and went to Idaho and kind of found a rock hidden in the dust, and I was like fourth gear. And it wadded me up big time. So I pretty much dislocated and broke my shoulder, broke my ankle, just a bunch of stuff. But yeah, it kind of messed me up. But I ended up healing up from all that. It took me probably whole year of 91. Yeah, 91 to get back going again, and then towards the end of that year, I won like 5 races in a row. So, but
yeah,
I didn't do real well in it because I struggled early on. But after that, I was good to go for 92 and ended up coming back and winning again in 92 championship. So that was it was good. It was definitely a process. I mean, I trained hard, just getting the riding part back strong again.
yeah. Who was your biggest rivals in those early days?
Scott Summers. Scott Summers was. He Scott Summers was. He was. I don't know if you've heard of him, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I know. I know all these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he was. Yeah. We pretty much started. So I met him in like 1980. 85, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
At a local down in Kentucky. Yeah, I think he had some mechanical problems. I ended up winning that day, but after that, we just kind of progressed the same. We won the same kind of at the same time at our nationals, but I think I won in '89. He won in '90. So it just kind of progressed. And I mean, he only won more championships than I did, but I think he ended up winning 5 GNCC championships and then like 2 national hair scrambles.
I think he got 5. Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
he definitely done.
Yeah.
My injuries cost me a little bit. I feel if I wouldn't have done that in 1990, I'd have probably won, I don't know, at least 2 more championships, and if not
Yeah.
more. But in 90, so 94, 95 is when I won the 2 GNCC championships. And 95, I lost by 1 point the National Hair Scramble title for that year as well to him by 1 point.
Yeah.
So that one hurt. But felt I should have won both of those championships that year.
Yeah.
The following year, 96, I lost by 2 points. That one. So there was definitely some stuff that I could have done a little better, but overall, it was good. I had a great career.
Yeah.
Learned a lot, and I kind of carry it all over to what I do now. So
Yeah. Who was the other rival? So Scott was your main rival. Who else?
he was Summers was my main. I mean, there was a lot of different riders. Rodney Smith. Rodney Smith. Let's see. I mean, there's a slew of them. Fred Andrews, which he came
Yeah.
from pro motocross over to GNCCs, and he actually won the championship in '93. That was
And Fred's from Ohio as well, isn't he?
Northern
Yeah.
Ohio, Southern Ohio. So yeah, he won in '90. That was the only championship he won. But we had some really good races. He was a moto guy, so he rode good in the woods. I mean, I give him credit for that. He come over and done really well that year and ended up winning. But he had a lot of background in the woods. But back to that. It was 96 or 95 was the last year I won championship. So I still continued to race. In 98, I had a pretty good wrist injury.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of took me out. That one's probably really the worst injury I had, like as far as putting me off the bike for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It shattered my whole wrist and had to have it all rebuilt back. But I did come back after that. It took me a few years, but actually Aaron had started racing by then. So we were going to races together. I would race or he would race in the morning and I'd race in the afternoon. So that's when he was doing the off-road stuff before we really got into the moto stuff. But I think 2002, we were going to a woods race and we stopped at this little fair to race, and he raced and I decided to race, and I ended up getting in a crash with another guy and ended up fracturing a few vertebrae in my back and stuff, and that kind of pretty much done me in after that. I still rode a lot after that, but just didn't get into the racing part. I pretty much let him on him.
Yeah.
Trying to get him going and seeing what he had to put into it. And we kind of, I don't know, we kind of mix things up different than a lot of people do. I let him do both the off-road stuff and the moto stuff. So that was kind of a different program than a lot of people done. We'd hit a motocross one weekend and then a off-road race the next weekend.
Yeah.
And I don't know. A lot of people said I need to get him out of the woods racing because he's never going to be a motocrosser if he's always riding in the woods. But
They're eating humble pie nowadays, though, aren't they? That's for sure.
I think it actually I think it definitely benefited him when it was wet at the moto tracks back then because he had to race in the mud or whatever. Because we'd go to a motocross and if it was a bit muddy, he would wax everybody. And that's what you're familiar with Loretta Lynn's.
Yeah.
So in 2013, it was a pretty wet week at Loretta's, and he won all 6 motos, 250B and Open B. So, yeah, it definitely helped. And I think like now, I don't think he's as good as mud rider as he was back then because they don't practice when they don't never go out and ride when it's wet. And I don't think, when I was growing up racing, I didn't care if it was pouring down rain. I went out and done my motos in the pouring down rain, and it showed because I was about the best mud rider there was in the United States. And if you practice in it, you're going to be good at it. So that's what I like. Newer generation motocrossers, they never practice in it, so they're hating life when they go to the line.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know. Even sometimes, like even sometimes dads don't want the kids nowadays to practice there because it's so hard on the bike. It destroy. They come back from a mud race and the bike needs so much. Dad's got to do so much more work on the bike, so it's even almost discouraged at times nowadays, I think.
Yeah, especially with bikes being $10,000-$12,000 now. I don't want to go out and just trash the thing in a nasty mud unless you have to. So it's kind of definitely taking a turn because I cancel some of our races here just because if it's pouring down rain or whatever a couple days before the race or it's supposed to rain during the race, it costs so much anymore to have an event, and if you don't get your good turnout, you're going to lose money. So, and a lot of people will not show up.
Yeah,
it's going to rain. So, but I don't know. It's kind of got its goods and its bads, but usually a lot of people are fair weather riders these days.
Yeah, that's right. They are. They are. Yeah. I know just myself. I just go to track days to have fun.
Yep.
And if it's wet, like everybody's waiting. I'm plenty of times I've been the first guy out there. The first guy out there slipping and sliding because I ain't waiting. I love it.
Have a blast,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right.
If you don't have a good attitude, you're not going to have a good day.
Yeah, yeah. What's your number one tip for people for mud riding?
Like I say, you gotta enjoy it because if you don't like it, you're not gonna have a good day.
Yeah.
Other than that, feet on the pegs, stand up as much as you can. Just pick good lines because if you pick a bad line, you're gonna, especially if the rut's deep going in, it's gonna be deeper coming out. So if you go in expecting it, if it's deep, you're definitely, because that's usually it gets deeper as you come out because everybody's clutching it or whatever. So I always pick the lines where there wasn't ruts. Just if I had to crisscross the ruts or whatever, I would try to do that. And momentum. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing I always carried was a lot of momentum, just so you don't get hung up and stuff. But yeah, you just got to look ahead. And like I say, stand up because your balance is all in your standing up. As soon as you sit down, it's hard to. Then you start paddling your legs and everything. So I always rode on standing up, feet on the pegs, and just send it.
Yeah. I remember the first time I encountered anything like that. So growing up, so I'm just I just love riding. I'm not that good at it, but I've raced a little bit. I'm a C grader, so I remember the first time encountering those conditions off road. I was lucky enough, a bunch of older guys that were just good local riders. When I was about 15, I was, decent rider, and they took me to these awesome places to ride, muddy, wet hills and that sort of thing. The real stuff, And yeah, I remember the first day was just like it's like I was starting all over again. And I remember one of the guys said to me, he said, "Look, I'm going to tech screw your feet to the pegs if you don't keep them on there." And it was like, oh, shit, okay, And, by the end of the day, I learned more that day about riding than the previous probably 10 years of riding, because I was just in those conditions and just watching these blokes that were good at it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely learn. I mean, you probably learn more mud riding than you do anything, and because regular conditions there isn't that much difficulty to it. But yeah, you get in the mud vents. I mean, I've been in some where it's just survival, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I just always, I mean, I have gotten stuck before and had to pull my brains out so I was seeing stars. But yeah, I just always tried to pick the best lines, and I don't know. It seemed like it always worked out good in my favor, and try to look ahead where you always see other people stuck and try not to go there
Yeah.
because you look straight down and don't even see what's ahead of them.
Yeah, yeah, especially kids. A lot of kids looking straight down. Yeah, that's one of the hardest habits to break, isn't it? I'm sure you come across that with the kids you're training. Yeah,
Yeah, they look straight down. It's like I've actually been run into before because I'll actually like stand somewhere and just watch them, and they won't even see you there. It's crazy, but
yeah, yeah,
try to look ahead. It's definitely hard to do, but a lot of them take to it, and some of them never do. They always like that front fender looking
yeah.
at us.
That's right. Did you ever come across Jeff Ballard in the early days
Yeah,
over there?
yeah.
Yeah,
So he was, I'd say, I mean, I know I raced against him in like '85 was
yeah,
prime,
yeah.
um, and he
He
was here
came home. He came home, I think, in '89, maybe '88. Yeah.
at '88. He kind of went away.
Mm,
Yeah, he was a good rider though. He was
mm,
good.
yeah,
I know he won some races over here quite a bit.
yeah.
Because he was riding a Can-Am back then.
Yeah, yeah, not a great bike, but he was the teammate of Papa John from Millville, like Alex Martin's dad. He was his teammate. Yeah,
Yep. No, I remember racing with both of them.
yeah, yeah. Now he's obviously a big he's probably until Toby Price come along. Jeff was the biggest name like ever in off road racing for Aussies. So
Yeah, he was definitely good around here. I mean, there was a lot of, I mean, you had Mark Hyde, Fritz Cadillac. There was, I mean, John Martin, Terry Cunningham. I mean, that's their era when Jeff was over here. So
yeah,
there was definitely had some good competition.
yeah. What's your favorite ever race bike?
Um, to be honest, I would say, I mean, I liked my KTM's. Um, but I had an '87 KX250 that I don't know that bike. It had so much bottom end and just so easy to ride. Uh, I mean, the '88 KT Kawasaki was even, I'd say, as good, but I just I don't know. I felt really good on that '87. Just they changed the ergonomics of the
Yeah.
on the 80. Um,
They got a
but
bit wider in '88, didn't they? They had a pretty big tank and a bit wider. Yeah, the '87 was really slim. Yeah,
I I had bought that '87 off a guy. It was used, and I raced it about half the year, and I don't know. It just fit me perfect. I liked the power. The suspension was good, um,
mm,
and even I mean I like the actually, once I got on the 88, 89, they were good bikes. I really liked them. It took me a little while to get suspension dialed in on them, but once I got with Pro Circuit, they, I mean, it was perfect. As
Yeah.
soon as I got, so it
Yeah.
was I had a good time on the KXs. I wished I could have stayed with them, but just we kind of parted ways, and I
Yeah.
ended up had a good career with them.
Yeah. 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 And you're in 2021, you got into the AMA Hall of Fame. Tell us a bit about that.
So, kind of surprised me. I mean, a little bit. I know some of my competitors were already in there, so I wasn't sure. And then I got a call from Ron Rebolzi back in 2020, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm putting your name in for AMA Hall of Fame." And I said, "Cool. I think that'd be awesome." But never did hear from him again. And then in 2021, he actually called me and says, "Hey, I think you're getting nominated for the Hall of Fame." So I said, that's definitely awesome. I thought I thought I had a great career, and ended up getting that, and I was nominated with that him, or let's see, Ryan Villapoto went in that year,
Mm.
so being there with him, there were some other road racers and flat track guys that went in that same time. So, but yeah, no, that was definitely a highlight of my career to be. They actually have one of my championship bikes from '94 up there now. So it's definitely pretty good.
It is. It is really cool. Did you ever think about? Did you ever do the 6 days, or did you ever think about doing the 6 days?
It didn't. I did run some of the qualifiers,
Mm.
but I never did. I don't know. I liked the racing. It was okay, but I didn't. I don't know. I like going out and doing my 3 hours, like
Yeah.
photo, and then being done.
Yeah.
It was stuff was just drug out all day, and you only got to ride hard for a little bit. And then the year that I was gonna do it, I was in pretty. I mean, me and Summers was deep in the championship, and I actually went and ran the qualifiers. Um, and then that was that was when it was in the United States in Oklahoma, and I think he ended up breaking his wrist. I ended up not going, but he ended up breaking his wrist that year there, and I ended up winning the championship. So, but yeah, I don't know. Same way with the National Enduro Series. I did some of those events, but I just didn't like them.
Yeah. Yeah. Not your deal. You just want to get into it, and it's the
Like,
old traditional enduro. It's a different it's a different thing. Like I've never ridden one, and I wouldn't, but it's very interesting and complicated, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, back then, like, I mean, that I did like the qualifiers, like for 6 days and stuff, and I liked that stuff better than the National Enduros because National Enduros you had the timekeeping stuff and all that. So I really didn't like those. I'd go to a National Enduro and burn every check. I just do it for practice. Really, I just wanted to go, just get good practice in, and ride with a lot of the guys I don't get to ride with normally.
Yeah. Who was when you were a young off road rider? Who was like your hero? Who were you sort of looking up to as like I want to be like that guy one day?
You know, I didn't really pay that much attention to it when I was younger.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't pay attention to any of it. I mean, even the moto stuff, I didn't really. Um, I don't know. Just I went to some local motocross races with my brothers and stuff, but I never did look up, never did like pay attention to any of the big name riders. And then really once I started racing, and started racing the locals, because our local series here was like you'd go to a local event and you would have 10, 12 like top contenders like Mark
Mm.
Hyde, Kevin Brown. Terry Cunningham. I mean, there's a whole slew of them. Mike Melton. Basically, because Factory Husqvarna was out of Ohio.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's where all these guys stayed at and lived at. So you'd go to a local race and all them guys would be here. But I don't know. I just never really. I just wanted to beat him.
Yeah, that's all right. They were just that you just wanted to beat them rather than look up to them. Yeah, no, that's cool. Cool.
Yeah, because I ran a local series close to my house. It was in Indiana because we're only like 15 minutes from the Indiana border. So this place called Haspin Acres. That's where I grew up racing. That's where I raced my first 100-mile race. I was running a lot of motocrosses there when I was younger. And like in 82, 83, and 84, I like dominated over there. I was like king shit over there. And I was like, well, I'm going to go over to Eastern Ohio and race these guys because everybody says, oh, these guys are fast. So in 84, I went over there and yeah, they pretty much waxed me. I mean, they lapped me twice.
Yeah.
And Kevin Brown. And Kevin Brown, he went to 6 days, all that stuff. And I mean, he was super fast. Like, he just couldn't keep from getting hurt. Like, he would break something all the time, but he was really fast. But yeah, they lapped me twice, and I went home with my tail between my. I done my homework, went back over there the next year in 85, and I won. And
nice. Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, that's you must have just been so pumped when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was, Mark Hyde, kid who was all there. Terry Cunningham was there. There was quite a few of the top guys back then. I beat the local race, but I beat him, and yeah, it's kind of on from there because I went to the National Hare Scramble the following weekend, and me and Mark Hyde got out front, and and he got away from me, and it was rocky as crate. I mean, it was so rocky, and I'd never ridden in rocks like that before, and I made it about 2 hours, and I just pootered out. I think I pushed too hard. He was a super like technical rock rider, like Blackwater 100 multiple times.
Yeah.
So really good at it. But that's when I first figured out that I wasn't in good shape. I could, but I had to figure out what I needed to do to take it to the end. So yeah, I just had to get that figured out, and then once I got that figured out, it was all good.
Cool. All right, we might just talk a little bit about Aaron, hey?
Yeah, he's okay, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, you must be you must be just as proud of what a good person he is as what a good rider he is.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I've always been like really good with my competitors. Always talk to them, everything. And his mom's super nice, and my wife, whatever, she's super nice. So I think he got took it from some good people to be nice to the fans and everything. He definitely, he's a fan favorite right now. I mean, it's crazy to go like at Daytona over the weekend when he came out for opening ceremonies. Like, they were cheering him louder than anybody.
Yeah.
And been to like 6 races this year, and it's never been like that before. Like, I think at Dallas, at Arlington a couple weeks ago, it was when he came out, it was crazy. Like how everyone got for him, and then when he's on the track and they're cheering him on, especially the night he won. I mean, that stadium, like San Diego, it just like lit up. Like when he got the last lap, I mean, you couldn't even hear anything. It was so loud.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. I was watching. I was in like a group chat. I was just watching at home, but I was in like a group chat with a bunch of fans that were all watching. Everybody's just like holding their breath, fingers crossed. Like the whole
Yeah,
world was nervous for him, and then so excited for him. It was
that
just
last
fantastic.
year at Detroit when he
Yeah,
crashed one lap, that was a hard one to swallow there because
yeah, I'll bet.
you have a 9-10 second lead, and I mean pretty much the race is yours, and then just some fluke happened like that, and it's all over with. But
Yeah.
it was good to see him get a win this year.
Mm.
He's definitely, I think he deserves it. I mean, the first 2 years of his 450 career didn't go so great with Yamaha.
Mm.
He just struggled with the bike like everybody did.
Yeah.
As soon as he got on Star, it was like a whole new bike. And
Mm.
first race out, he got second at Paula behind Kenny. Him and Kenny went at it for the whole race. But yeah, and then we'd already talked to KTM before he got on Star. So it kind of it was already going the KTM way. So, but he rode good that year. I think he was third in points over. Well, yeah, because I'm trying to think. Supercross, he done some good. He done pretty well in Supercrosses. Wasn't great, but he did have some good finishes. But the outdoors when it really showed, and then a bike broke at Southwick. When he was in, I think he got third the first moto. Yeah, he was in third, second moto right off the start, and it broke. But it kind of all went downhill after that. I think he had a pretty good crash at Unadilla when he looped it out, and ripped the whole back end of the bike off. So, but yeah, then it went to KTM and thought everything was going to be awesome, and then they changed the frame.
Yeah. Yeah, he timed it wrong. Yeah, it was just bad luck, Yeah.
Like, man, we just spent 2 years on Yamaha and then got the bike right, and then now having to start all over again. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much another 2 years of struggle.
Yeah.
And now the bike's good. So, yeah, he just really did not come to the bike for that first 2 years. So, and we all knew, I mean, that it was the frame because, I mean, even Ryan Dungey, when he came back, he was just saying, yeah, the bike isn't near as good as what it was in 21. But it's good now. So, and he's happy. He just got to, I know we had a bad weekend last weekend at Daytona, but that
Yeah.
track,
Cost a lot of points. It's just a shame. Yeah.
yeah, that he was only 7 points out of first going in there, and just found the wrong spot. No, he jumped that jump the lap before that, and it kind of made me nervous when he did it. And then the next lap around, because nobody was jumping it from going. They were quadding in, like Jet was, and then they would single out over that larger jump. So Aaron was trying to triple that and then shoot off that bigger jump. But yeah, he wrecked there, and then next lap Dylan wrecked there, and then I think Dean Wilson did the same thing. So it just got so soft. I mean, the track, it was crazy. The ruts, I don't think I've ever seen a jump that the rut was all the way to the base. Like,
Yeah.
go through the jump and it would be at your seat height.
Yeah, I know. The photos after there was you probably seen the photos of people were out there walking, and there's some kids
Yeah,
that are big enough to ride like a peewee that are standing in these ruts and something with their shoulders. So, yeah,
it was unbelievable. We knew it was going to be like that because press day was just horrendous how soft it was. They just did like a couple of different motos, so and it just fell apart right then. But yeah, and then the rain didn't help. during practice. So,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. Everybody's got to ride the same track. So he just made a little costly mistake, but he's got to dig himself out. And it looks like this weekend is going to be another one. So
Yeah, that's right. Could be a good chance for him to grab some points back. Yeah.
I never know. I mean, half the guys have got lapped so far. He's the only one I don't think's got lapped this year. Well,
Yeah.
he did. He might have got. I think he did get lapped last week.
Okay.
So
Yeah. It's hard to tell with all what was going on. So
I think he did get lapped because he had a heck of a time picking his bike up. It was laying upside down pretty much on that jump and
yeah,
just
yeah.
get going. But yeah, but it's good. He's in a good spirits and everything, and ready to go after it this weekend.
When he was a kid, he must have been a bundle of joy when he was a young fella for sure. Like,
Yeah,
you know, with his personality.
yeah, he was definitely funny. I mean, he's definitely got a little more character to him now than what he did when he was younger. He was not. I mean, he was quiet, but I mean, he was still outgoing. Like, definitely liked having fun at the races and stuff, and all of his friends and stuff. He was definitely a goofball sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, cool, cool. I've got just a few other little questions that I usually ask guests, just some random questions. You know, a
Yep.
bit about your personality and a bit of things that people might not know. I don't know if I know Aaron's into music. I don't know if you're into music, but what if you had to choose like one album to listen to for the rest of your life? You only got one album. What are you going for?
I don't know. Back in the day, I liked the rock bands, like the Eagles and Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. So, I mean, like Hotel California. Those, I mean, the Eagles were really good.
Yeah, yeah,
Now I kind of listen to more country stuff, but still, I don't mind flipping it over. And it's hard to find some of those rock stations that play that stuff anymore. So,
yeah,
definitely, definitely the Eagles. It was
yeah,
good.
yeah. The Eagles, nice, nice. Yeah. Do you have any sort of bucket list like or anything really, but moto bucket list things like events you never got to go and see or anything like that you'd still like to do?
Um, I've been to about every moto. So I've been to the destinations and stuff like that. But I never have went out of the country.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna go last year when Aaron went over to was
Uh,
Finland,
uh, France.
France, yeah, France. So I was gonna go then, but my motocross series, I had a race on that week, so I couldn't go. So that'd probably be the only because I've been to every. I think in his whole 250 career, I think five 5 years. I didn't miss a race. I went to every one of them.
Yeah, yeah,
The So I got to go to pretty much all the tracks around here in the United States. So, but yeah, I wouldn't mind going to destinations sometime.
go to
Before
an overseas one. Yeah,
if it gets picked again or something,
yeah.
that'd be a goal of mine.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be super cool. It'd be super cool to see. To see, I could just picture him on the stage if he was there for a winning one. That'd be just the best thing ever. I reckon that'd be awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, even over there this year, he had the fans going. It was pretty good to watch.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll bet. Yeah. What's a skill that you don't have that you wish you'd love to have?
I don't know. Um, Maybe singing. I think I think that would be a good something good to have because there's good money in it and everything.
Yeah,
That would be something good. I know. Aaron tried. He's into some of that stuff, but yeah, definitely something like that would be good. It's a good career and
yeah,
a lot of people in it. But yeah, other than that, I mean, everything else I do pretty good at that I put my heart to.
Yeah.
I run all my tracks and stuff. I run the equipment, and I'm really good at it. So
Yeah. Do you
yeah.
ride? Do you ride much nowadays?
No, I did up till about 3 years ago, and then actually 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years ago this August. I was picking up a rock during a
Oh,
race at my track and lost part of my hand. Um, so I just, to be honest, I was kind of over riding by then, but
yeah,
I still ride and stuff with my friends and stuff. So I mean, I could still ride. I just haven't yet.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I can still grip the handlebar and everything. I still got my thumb, as you can see.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Still, I mean, it really don't hinder me at all as far as anything. Everything the biggest probably thing that I have a hard time doing is swinging a hammer because I can't really grab a hold of the hammer.
of course, yeah,
So
yeah,
the only thing I found that I haven't been able to do yet. Everything else get I can do pretty well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very good. Yeah, cool, cool. That's all right. Couple of things I do just So thank you heaps for your time.
Oh,
Yeah,
problem. Yeah.
fantastic. Couple of fun things I do to close out the show. Give us your best Aussie accent.
Aussie accent. I don't even know if I have one. I've never. Yeah, I probably don't have one.
No, just give us a good day, mate.
Hey, mate.
It's not too bad. That's not too bad. Yeah, you've got a pretty broad American accent to start with. Like same as Aaron has. So yeah, so you're starting from further away from the
Uh,
Aussie accent. But yeah, it's just a bit of a fun thing I do. It's funny. Some people are just terrible, and then I've had a few people that are really good at it. So
I hung
yeah.
out with Shane Watts a lot, so I kind of
Oh
learned.
yeah, yeah.
He was he was a nut.
Yes, he is. I've never met Shane, but obviously I know a lot about him. Yeah, Spino and I, he was home for a while. I don't know, about 5 years ago. We spent a few years back here, and he was doing riding schools, and I had a mate do one, and I thought, geez, that'd be cool just to go and do it. Just to see what he's got to say and just meet him and that sort of thing. He was actually doing them really close to where I lived and everything. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll get to one of them, but then he moved back to the States. I think he lives in Utah now, and so I missed my chance there. But
Yeah.
yeah, certainly a character, that guy. Just the stories of him as a young fella and that sort of thing over here, and he never changed. The stories of him turning up with a stock bike, bald tires, and all this sort of stuff, and just winning everything, and just and then he went over and he did that to the world. He just grab a
Everybody.
bike out of a crate and just go out and win. And
Yep.
yeah,
He was definitely. I mean, he was a real deal. I mean, and the way he came into it, I mean, he didn't train or anything. I don't know how he did it. He
yeah, just
really
crazy natural talent. Yeah,
tried a stock motorcycle, and I even rode one of his bikes after the race just to see. And yeah, it was not. I don't know how he rode it. Yeah, he'd show up to a race in a crate, open it up, put it together, and race it and win.
so almost like a psychological thing to the competition, isn't it? It's just
Yeah,
like,
won on every bike one year.
yeah,
He started out with a 125 and rode all the way to a 520
yeah,
and won it.
yeah. Just, yeah. Such a yeah,
But it was
such a
almost over
character.
as because that was like I think 98 or 99 when he did that.
Mm,
Yeah, I think it was 99 or 2000. But yeah, and then U-Haul Solomon come over and pretty much waxed everybody.
yeah,
And
changed the sport, didn't he?
David Knight, yeah, it was them foreigners just come over and whoop up on us.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was probably Rodney Smith that I heard say that. Yeah, Yuha just turned it into a 3-hour sprint race. It was just, and
But he
there was no. Yeah, it was just go the whole time. Yeah,
didn't look like he was going fast either. He was super smooth. Just yeah, that momentum thing. Kind of like that Jet Lawrence guy.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. It's funny. One of my favourite GNCC things of all time is the one where Doug Henry just came out of nowhere on
Well,
and beat Yuha. That was just like unbelievable. And Doug was that spent that
yeah,
I think he almost collapsed on the podium, and he was geez,
yeah,
that was cool.
that was Florida. That one's always an gnarly, gnarly race. But I think it was even like 90 some degrees that day that Doug Henry raced that one. But yeah,
Yeah, cool. All right, last thing I do on the show, Scott, is I'm a bit like a young bloke. I like to do a bit of singing as well, so I sing the outro to the song. It's a bit of Kenny Rogers, and I always say to people, if anybody's keen to jump on in, then they're welcome to. Most people don't, so that's it. But yeah, so it's a bit of a funny background story to it, but it's just become a bit of a thing how I finish the show. So I'll just ease into a bit of that to finish up.
okay. Sounds
So
good.
I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light, and the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. Said, if you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know
No
when to walk away.
when to run.
You
You got
never count your money.
when you're. I don't know that one.
When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting.
When
When the
oh,
dealing's done.
but
No,
yeah,
no worries. No worries. Thank you very much, Scott. Good luck to Aaron for the rest of the season. I'm a big fan, like most people say, and thank you very much for your time. It's been great to talk about your career. I hope some of my younger listeners get to know a little bit about AP's dad. Wasn't always just AP's dad. He was a legend in his own right. So thank you very much.
appreciate you having me. Y'all have a good night.
No worries. Thank you.
Take care. Thanks.
Cheers. Bye.